You're listening to iFanboy Pick of the Week, episode 985. My name is Connor Kilpatrick, and this is my co-host, Josh Flanagan.
Hi there. Heyo.
Welcome to iFanboy 2025. We are more than halfway through our 20th year of doing the show and our 25th year of doing iFanboy. That means every week for 25 years, one of us has picked a book they like the best from their stack of comics. We call that book the Pick of the Week. We'll talk about that book, other books of the week, the Patron Pick, listener mail. We're going to have a good time. Life is rough. The world is crazy. We're going to have as much fun as possible because you got to find your fun.
You know what else we're more than halfway through?
Uh-oh.
Our natural lives.
Josh took the advice about finding his fun and he drove it into the wall.
Yep. Halfway, and I went, oh, I'm not going to live that long.
Here's your spoiler warning. We're all going to die. Exercise some caution. This week, Josh has the pick.
That's the least spoilery thing ever. It's just a matter of how and when. Not an obvious pick of the week for me. As I went down the list, I was like, I don't know. And there could have been other things that were pick of the week, but I decided.
Yeah, it was a good week.
In the stick the landing category, which I tend to think is the most difficult of all comic book moves, you have an unexpected pick of the week is Uncanny Valley number 10. It's the last issue of this delightful, surprising, weird little series.
Yep.
Doing a thing that I have never seen a comic book do, which is to meld comic book reality with the wackiness of Saturday morning cartoon world that certainly people our age grew up with. This isn't what cartoons look like, but very much influenced by sort of all the cartoons that we grew up watching, cell animation.
And this one really leans into that one, this issue.
Right, and that's what I liked was that it is one thing, as we've seen many times, to come up with a concept and execute on a first issue, an intro, and then peter out because it's kind of all that was there.
Right.
And 10 issues of this, and it was kind of a perfect length for it. And there was a beginning, a middle, and an end. They developed the ideas. They concluded on the ideas. We sort of saw what sounds dumb saying. We saw what it's like to become a cartoon when you were found out you were only. And it turns out not half cartoon, by the way. He's full cartoon. They were masking. I don't know what you call it.
No, I mean, because
wait, her mother was a human.
His mother's a human.
The mother's mother, the mother's mother was a human.
Yeah, he's not.
So that would make her half human, but the kid, I want to say his name's Oliver, but that's also my kid's name. He's 3/4 cartoon then. Because
his mother was human and his father was He-Man.
His mother's not human. His mother is at least half cartoon.
So his mother's half cartoon.
Right.
So he's a quarter cartoon.
Do you get extra financial aid for a certain content of cartoon in your book?
I am from Eternia. All right, let's.
Okay, so
no, you're right. 3/4 cartoon. I don't know.
There's a big bad.
It's not a math show.
And he's the cartoons are trying to. It doesn't matter. They're trying to stop their world from being destroyed by taking over the whole world. And this kid is the chosen one. And so the big bad guy convinces all the other toons that this is the way to save everything. And so it's a little bit about a kid discovering who he really is, a mother coming to terms with who she really is, and a grandfather who is Yosemite Sam trying to be human enough for the other people.
Yosemite Sam / Bugs Bunny.
Yeah,
because he pulls a lot of Bugs Bunny gags.
Well, and that's the thing.
I love the opening gag with the delivery of the package. That's a classic Warner Brothers gag,
right?
Where there's an army of the bad guys' troops, and he pulls a giant box up, and you're laughing. I was laughing the entire time reading the page. And but I knew it was coming. But still, it's such a good gag. He brings the box up, sign here. They sign for it.
And
telegram from Mongo, and it blows up.
And the gag is that it's I don't know Yosemite Sam.
It's a box full of dynamite.
But he's in quote unquote disguise.
Right.
Like they're all useless, stupid cartoons. He's like, well, that's not him. He's in a different hat. Right. Special delivery. And there's a bunch of explosives that take place out of it, and then the mom, goes into tornado mode, you can't handle this. And then, of course, we have the big reveal of, and by the way, this reveal of all of the cartoons, which are
all of
just
the
this
cartoons
far away from being legally actionable.
I spent a good amount of time on this page, on this double page spread.
Yeah.
It's like that's the scene in Rise of Skywalker when all the rebels show up. This is all the T2s
I was
show
thinking which one of the
or
Avengers
Dunkirk.
movies is it?
Or Endgame. So
yeah, so you got G.I. Joe, and you got some GoBots, you got Transformers, you got Silverhawks, you got He-Man,
Gem.
you have Ewoks, but they're cats.
Ewoks, Teenage Mutant Ninja
Thundar
Turtles,
the Barbarian, Marshall Bravestar, Gem, Turtles. It's all there. This is a love letter, but at the same time,
My Little Pony.
What made it fun was the sort of leaning into all the tropes of these things,
Voltron.
and again, really, I don't know, like the people who own these properties may not have robust legal teams, because at a time in the past you would definitely been this is fall under this is satire. I know, I'm just kidding. But like none of the fact that like they didn't have the actual characters took away from anything, because we all know exactly what they're trying to say, and they're just going to tell the story. I really liked the Coda
Smurfs
scene with I mean, he even says his name's Adam. He-Man, being like, so I wasn't
was the best. It
wasn't around much.
Very much a Smallville Clark scene. Like they're at the farm. So awkward.
I just it delivered. Like they stuck the landing. It's been a fun comic book from start to finish. It would have been really easy to do this badly. And sure. I just am really impressed by, Tony Fleecs is not a household name necessarily, nor is Dave Wachter, but they're both pros. They're veterans. They've been around for a really long time. And we underestimate that a lot, looking for the hot new thing, like the person. But somebody who's been working in the trenches of it, I hope this isn't like downplaying them, but like, doing creator-owned comics and never stopping for years and years and years, and getting like bits of mainstream work here and there, but honing the craft, like it's not the hot flash and you think it's not Jonathan Hickman. It's just like people doing the job. And so every once in a while, those guys will just create something that's fantastic and a complete surprise from out of nowhere. And, I will never forget the first time we read, I think, this was a patron pick, I think.
It was.
And I don't know if I would have read it or not. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
But I do remember that we were both like, it's really good, isn't it? Like, surprisingly so. And the fact that it stayed that way is laudable.
And it's not, I mean, it's not rare, but it really needs to be said that this is a team effort. I mean, Tony Fleecs is doing great work here. We've seen him on more books since this book started coming out. We've seen him on a Marvel book. He's doing the Thing book.
Yeah.
And Dave Wachter
they got an Eisner nomination for this. So,
and Dave Wachter is really great. I wouldn't say the star of the book is Tony Fleecs' jokes, and a knowledge of cartoon world and lore and is integral. But the way that Dave Wachter integrates different art styles in a page, in a panel, and makes it all seem seamless and part of the same world. Like that scene with He-Man talking to the kid. He-Man looks like a cartoon, but he's standing next to a realistic kid in a realistic setting, and he looks like he should be there. It's a very good team effort here, and Pat Brousseau in letters. Really, I mean, and Dave Walker's in the colors too. I mean, it's just a really impressive book. Yep. Really great. And I'm happy the ending did well. I'm happy it was satisfying. This is going to be a nice little trade to hand to people from a certain.
I can't tell you. I would be like, I don't know how I'd feel if they brought this back for something. I don't know.
I don't
why they wouldn't, but like I'd be fine to leave it here. Then again, if they have a story to tell, then tell it, and I'll be there for it.
Yeah, I mean, like that is the impulse. Of everything is to keep going with more and more and more. I'm totally happy to have things end. And I think this did really well, and I'm happy if that.
I think that like if they have a story and they like doing it, it's fun. Then go for it. But you read this still?
Oh yeah, this was might have been my pick of the week.
It's very possible. So what we have here is, by the way, there's 2 stories here. There's Conan and Valeria, the Sunless Isle, and then there's Cull, the
I didn't
Invisible
read Cull.
Assassin. Nor did I. That's my point. However, the main story, with story and art by Patrick Zurcher, or Patch Zurcher, as he has been. It used to be Patrick, but the main story was quite meaty. I want to say 40 pages,
Yeah,
something like that.
49 pages.
Yeah, of all black and white. It was a long story. Usually, I feel like there's a more and shorter stories in one of these.
There's usually 3 stories in like a prose piece, and so this is just 2. Yeah.
So like a nice long sort of multi-part adventure put into chapters about some adventures that Conan and Valeria, who is sort of a pirate version of him, who's a sexy lady, and they have fun, sexy adventures. And I'm emphasizing the sexy because there's not a lot of things that can get away with it, but it still fits in with this Conan aesthetic.
has to be. Conan has to be
right.
this way.
Yes.
If you take away the sexiness and all, there's elements. I mean, so I thought this was terrific. This main story was really good, and
yes, it was.
It's almost like a prototypical Conan story. It has it's about young Conan. So many stories lately have been about older King Conan. This is young at his prime Conan. He has a sexy side partner,
like a road dog.
Yeah, just as badass as he is. They have lots of sexy times. But then there's an interesting part where they grow apart in their journey. Where
there was a page.
Yeah, great page.
Where they're on a journey together and they're really happy and they can go, wherever they want, and then they're off on the journey, and through the page, I don't know if you can, there's a watermark, but they get further and further away over the course of it, and they're just annoyed with each other because they've been traveling for so long.
Right.
And
so it's all fun
simple
and
little move.
This is a metaphor for a relationship. It's all fun and sexy times in the beginning, and then they get further and further apart until they have to shout to each other because they're walking so far apart.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you have a nice sexy foil, and there has to be sexiness in Conan. That's just in the DNA of the pulp Conan story. And then there's a witch, there's a creature, there's a corrupt local king / politician. Like, it has all the elements that a great Conan story has, and it has a nice bow on it. I thought the structure of the story was terrific. I thought Patrick did an amazing job. So you start with the sexy fun times. They get sick of each other. Through the course of their adventure, they find the sexy fun times again, like a relationship. You sort of, you have your
past come back to haunt them. They're put in a place where they have no choice.
And the art was terrific.
This shit. This is, Zurcher's been around forever. This is the best work I've ever seen from him. I really loved it. And the format of this book, I really loved Jason Aaron and Mahmoud Asrar's series of Conan.
Yeah.
But I believe that from reading, I don't read the regular Conan series from Titan. This is the sort of quarterly anthology. I think this format fits it so much better. And, one after another, people are coming in there. I don't think there's even been any repeats, and everybody's just knocking out of the park.
Yeah.
And what you said is Conan has to be this way. This is a basic Conan story. They all have to be. You have to follow the Conan formula. We talked about this with Aliens. Yes. Alien stories have to follow the Alien formula. You can't, you don't reinvent them. You do not reinvent Conan. You don't make, you were saying this earlier, it has to be sexy. You can't make DC Universe Conan. Yeah. You have to have Vertigo Conan or whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, he has to be exactly this. And that's what makes it satisfying, and that makes it great, which is why, like, when Conan was in the Marvel Universe for a little while, it was like,
it was weird.
It just it didn't feel like it.
You can't have Gen Z Conan where everyone's afraid of intimacy and sex. Like, he has to be lusty and hot-blooded, and he's got to have a lusty, hot-blooded female character in the book. And that's
he's also very like pragmatic about it at times. He's like, no, this is a bad idea. Like, he's not like Gru with food. Right. In fact, he's exactly like Gru with food, except but like, there's a bit where they're walking and he's just like fixated on her butt. And the camera keeps pushing in. And...
Well, that's part of the arc, is it? Because
so
they start off sexy, and then it's like they don't.
Right.
Well, he does want to sleep with her again, but she's like, "No, we're getting separate rooms with this, and I'm sick of you." And then later, they're sort of apart, and then about 3/4 of the way through, he's like, I do like her hindquarters, and then at the end, they're back to sexy times again. So
I really liked the wizard sorcerer guy that was with
Yep.
them, the little bit, and how his how he changed, how he thought of him changed, and how he sort of ended up, and then they respect all that stuff. It was fantastic. Like I kind of got there and I was like, boy, this is really long. It keeps going forever. And I was like, I think I'm just enjoying the hell out of this. I don't care.
It was really good.
Like how lucky are we that we get to have, top-notch comic creators come in and do a long short story, they get 30, 40, 50 pages in black and white, and they're just like, go ahead, live out your, your 70s Conan dreams, your epic comics, just
and
do
it's
what you want.
Doing well. I mean, enough that it's still coming out.
Yeah.
I don't know how well that means, but I thought it was more than 9 if I was being honest, but
they don't come, they're quarterly, they don't come out that often. Like
I guess so
it's a treat.
It's been happening so long. I just assume it's like issue 19, but
also
really nice. Oh, from some time in the past, old. It looks like watercolor Neil Adams cover.
Oh, I saw that. Actually, I got to that cover and I went, wow, that's great. Who's that? And I went, oh, Neil Adams. Like I genuinely had a moment. I was like, this is beautiful. And it was Neil Adams. And I was like, still got it. Him, not me.
Well, he's dead, but
yeah, the covers are all fantastic. And there's a back cover, like again, there's no reinvention. They're just in there going, I'm going to do this like, who am I thinking of? The guy who did Richard Corbin. Like we're doing that. We're doing John Buscema. Period. We're doing not Jerry Conway, but yeah.
It just comes off as inauthentic if you try to do anything else with Conan. And it just, that's the trick. And the tough part of doing Conan is you have to figure out a way to do that formula, make it fun. And you can do that clearly. Stan Sakai's been doing that formula with Yuzaki Jimbo for 4,000 years. And so if he can do it, so can Conan creators.
Well, I will read this forever as long as it keeps coming out.
Yeah,
I'm
always excited when it comes out.
Me too.
Whenever I see it in the Titan press email, I'm like, oh,
yep.
So there you go. We're gonna take a quick break. We're going to sort out our rundown problems. We'll be back right after this. All right, 3, no counting. Sorry, Ron. All right, let's talk about what we were going to talk about before. Fantastic Four 727 or number 1. New number 1. That's what I was saying before. Is new movie means new number 1 because we know that after the movie ends, there's a horde of people that come running from the theater to the local comic shop, and God forbid they pick up issue 727, or God forbid they pick up issue 34, which whatever this would have been in Ryan North's run. It's very rare to have the restart with the same writer. Normally the writer.
I was thrilled about it because I was like, please don't start a new one and start, like, just don't take this from me.
But it's the movie effect. The great news is I have really enjoyed the artists that have been on the book. They've not been the best in the business, but they've been doing a really good job. But
they were right for it, though.
Umberto Ramos is one of my favorite artists in comics, and so I was very excited to see him on this book. So they're really cranking it up for the movie release in terms of investment. What's interesting was this is technically a One World Under Doom tie-in, but there's no banner because again, hordes of people coming out of the theater will be confused. And so the issue opens with them fighting Doom, and it's a very sort of traditional Marvel fight. And I thought, wow, are they changing the tone for this new volume? Or are they like turning down the Ryan Northness and up the Marvel's traditionalness? Nope. Then Ryan North comes in and he Ryan Norths it up with the story itself, which is where Doom sends the different members of the Fantastic Four to different parts of time, and they have to somehow get back together. This is not a one and done as he's been doing before, but I thought this was terrific.
Humberto Ramos, I will for certain, like I had to adjust myself to the tone changing of the art. There was a style to the other art that I got used to. That was sort of part of it. And I didn't even recognize it as being Humberto Ramos right away. He's turned down his Ramosness to a certain extent. This is not Amazing Spider-Man Humberto Ramos. You know what I'm saying? And I thought, there's parts of it that are really, really nice. There's a page of just Ben Grimm like wandering through the forest, and it's incredibly detailed and texturized. He's perfect
for Ben Grimm.
I know, but like I wouldn't look at that page and say that's a Humberto Ramos page. That doesn't look like it to me, and I don't mean that in a bad way. But like he's just putting a little different spin on things here, and I think it's really nice. And there's all sorts of great imagery that you can only do for the Fantastic Four in there, and I don't know how much of it was in the script, or when you look at Reed in wherever he is, like there's a page where he's wandering around, and every page is him using his powers in a different way.
Yeah.
You don't have to have that in the script. Like I don't know who did it or whatever, but like they worked together and they created something that is inherently Fantastic Four. Did you note that Sue said, "I'm the leader"? And I was like, well, that's a little different.
I didn't note that.
She says it in the beginning. She's describing all the people.
Oh.
And she says, "I lead the team" somewhere. Yeah, it's on the big splash page. The second page splash page is in the first thing, and I was like, I wonder if that's from the movie or we've just decided to. And I don't care. I just noticed it.
I lead the team. Interesting. I thought this was a great chance to get rid of the mustache on Johnny. It's been fun.
I had that thought. I was like, wait, has he got the mustache?
I'm over it, and Umberto really gives it some panache. But
it is a great mustache.
So this led me to think about something. So again, Dr. Doom sends them all off into time. So like Johnny is in like pre-life on Earth time. There's hardly any oxygen. The Thing is with the dinosaurs. Reed is in like the 1500s, and Sue is in like the Earth is about to get consumed by the sun. And so how are they going to survive? That's the cliffhanger. Or get back together or reunite.
Great stakes, and 4 of them. 4 sets of great stakes.
In past stories, I really like the idea that if one of them loses their powers, they all will eventually. I like that. At some point, someone introduced, if they're separated, their powers diminish. I don't like that. Because then you can't ever tell solo stories. Like right now, we're reading a Thing comic. Technically speaking, everyone should be losing their powers because he's off on his own. We've read a Great Sue Storm miniseries, same thing. We had Reed and Sue in the Avengers by themselves. We've had the Thing in like the Defenders by himself. Like they should be able to go off on their own and not having them all fade. I don't mind them losing their powers if one loses their powers. That's interesting, but they should be able to be like we don't.
Well, maybe there's a limit on it. Like as long as you're in the same universe, good to go.
That being said, this wasn't even mentioned in the story because they're all very separated. So hopefully that's sort of by the wayside because I just don't think that's healthy for the relationship. Anyway, I thought this was terrific. I thought at first I was like, okay, I guess they're doing a more traditional Fantastic Four. Then Ryan Reynolds said, "Fuck you! I'm really going to turn the crank on this one."
I mean, I would argue that what he's doing is the purest, finest kind of traditional fantasy. These are science stories, and that's
yes. But I mean, it's more of like action adventure. Like, the opening is very much Marvel, like and it was fun. But like then when he did it to them, and then the whole thing with the Forever Stone, where they write their time and initials in, and then was very cool.
They did that thing where they mentioned it, and I was like, did I miss something? Am I supposed to know what this is? And then I was like, just be cool, and explained it sort of explained it. Like, I don't fully get it, but whatever.
Did you read the essay?
I read some of it, but I don't know that it stuck with me.
What I really liked about it was he said he was on the set of the movie talking to talking to someone in the I don't know what department it was. Yeah, someone in the crew in one of the departments, and he's in the art department. And he said, what do you like about the Fantastic Four? And I said, it's he went through every character's like thing. And he said, what I like about the Fantastic Four is simple. They're the ones who bring a slide rule, the scientific method to a gunfight. I was like, and Ryan was like, fuck, that was perfect. And I think, and I said, fuck, that was perfect. So whoever that was in the art department really understands why they're cool and why they're fun and why they're different. And so it makes me excited for the movie. And
it's really good.
I like this book a lot. So there you go. I'm happy. Now you're up.
A book that I was very excited about was Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Rites of Spring #1. This is a continuation of I was about to say smash hit, but I don't know how well. I bet it did pretty well. Because
I'm sure for them.
Is so good. And like word spread, and like it was immediately apparent that it was great. Have you read it yet?
So you sent me the trade of the first
I did send you the book.
Run. And I haven't had any time for extra reading. I want to. I definitely want to because you and Paul Montgomery are occasional fill-in host and special edition host. Really love it, and I trust you guys. The art's terrific. I just literally haven't had a moment to read anything other than what we have to read every week.
Sure,
I see it. It's on my shelf. To read books, and I go,
I have
shit. And I even thought about it this week. I was like, the new one's out. Do I have time? And I pulled the trade out, and it's thick. And I
Yeah,
was like, oh,
it's. I got over there. I got just there. There's other stacks, but it's the GI Joe set of the 4 giant hardcovers, and then I got the Usagi Yojimbo, the original 2 hardcovers, and then there's a Preacher Absolute over there. Anyway, I'm behind is what I'm getting at. So this is a big expectation book for me.
Let me ask you one question. Sorry, let me ask
Yes.
one question. I thought about it. If I had read this without having read the first one, would it have been? How would that have gone? Because I thought about reading just for this one.
I don't know. This issue you would have been fine. There's kind of a reveal that you would have appreciated more because of the other, but this primarily deals. Okay, so the first, I'm trying to figure out how to do this exactly. The first one is there's a small town.
Have there been 3 miniseries?
This is the second one. The first 6 issues.
I got you.
In Richard Scarry's busy town, there is a serial killer. They're revealed in, I think, in the first issue, but I'm not exactly sure. And there's a vivisection, but somebody else is doing killing.
Right, there's two serial killers.
Right, so that's kind of what happens. Yeah. And it's about being in the mind of the one more than the other, and so it's you take a story and you have a psychopath, and you're seeing their mind through their rational thought about how it is, and she's kind of relatable and not in that way, like, oh, this just seems like a normal person and she's got to do this other thing, and it's creepy, and you kind of
live. Who among us doesn't have to start killing people just because that's what has to happen
in the most grisly of ways? So in this one, we spend most of the first issue with the sister of a victim.
Okay.
And she has basically put her entire life on hold for 8 years, trying to chase down anything she can and being very dogged about it. And she's miserable, with her life and what it is. There is a massive math problem in the beginning of this that is very upsetting. There's a picture of the body of a character who was like just sort of an NPC who was killed in the last one, and it puts a date on it, and it's 2. And then when she goes in later, it's 2 years later. So she says, like, the picture's like 1984 is when they were killed, and then she talks about it and she's in 1986, or maybe vice versa, either way. And then she says something along the lines of, I've been doing this for 8 years, and then she goes on the internet, and I was like, whoa. Like, she's searching message boards and things for people, and I was like, nope. Too early. Nope. Either 92 or 94, you don't have that. That's not a thing.
There's a nascent internet, but it's not. I mean, I guess when did use
this is an early 2000s internet that she's using. In my the way that it looks. So anyway, so that kind of threw me off. It doesn't really affect anything, but I just thought, is he younger and doesn't know when the internet started?
I mean, use that started in 1980, but I mean,
you know what I mean.
It doesn't sound like that's the kind of person this is.
Like, people didn't really start you. Like, it was like late 90s, early 2000s.
I didn't see the internet at all until 1995.
Yeah,
I didn't have an email address, and I didn't
even know what it was
till I didn't know it existed until 1995.
Yeah. Anyway, all that aside, it was an intro story. There was a very interesting character. We learned a little more about how the world is. The world's basically our world, but people are ducks and bears and chickens. Right. It's a good start. I'm happy with it. It wasn't like a wild, crazy thing where, like, I'm going to change everything up. I mean, again, we've talked about Patrick Horvath. He did some long one-shot for Oni that you did read. A remarkably sophisticated creator who doesn't seem to have a lot of work under his name. So very excited about it. I think it's going to be good too.
Let's take a quick break. I'm going to read the trade, and we'll be back. I did not read the trade. I'm sorry. Transformers 22. Danny Warren Johnson. Jorge
What they don't know is that we go to the ad and we walk away for as much as a week and a half.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's my controversial Transformers feeling right now.
This is why it's here. I want to know where you're at.
I love Daniel Warren Johnson. I feel myself drifting away from this book, and so I'm kind of looking forward to Kirkman's taking over, because I feel like there's something missing from the storytelling that's making me really care about what's happening. And I don't know, maybe if that's just Transformers problem. Like, I would like them as a kid, but I didn't love them. Like,
I mean, historically, we've had a hard time caring about Transformers,
right? And I don't know if it's because the story is moving at a Denny Warren Johnson pace. Denny Warren Johnson is always on the move. There's no slowing down. We don't have an issue here where we sort of get to meet these the robots and learn about them or people. Like we're just going. We've been going for 22 issues, and it's harder to care for me about things that are happening when I don't really know anything about the characters. And so that's where I'm at. I like the whole thing with Doc from G.I. Joe was interesting. They really made was it Hawk? Flag into an asshole in this book, which I'm not against. He's an asshole. And then the stuff with the Allspark and like it's all interesting, and Jorge Corona's awesome, but
oh my god, he's awesome.
I find myself just like going, do I really care what's happening here? I don't, and I want to because I love Denny Warren Johnson.
I know what you're saying, and I understand it, and I don't necessarily disagree with it, but I still find myself enjoying it. I mean, like if almost to the point where if I am just talking about looking at it and sort of it's funny because on the one hand, it is a breakneck pace. On the other hand, like I find my problem is that I find myself wanting more. I'm like, now we're getting to the point where we've got Megatron and like stakes feel really high, but I feel like we've been on the edge of this thing. Like I want to really jump into the plot and move things. And I think that's
partially, I think we're saying the same thing because, in a certain sense, you have to set the plot. You have to stop and look around and set the table and the stakes and let us know what's happening, as opposed to it's been a running gun battle between the Autobots and Decepticons with the humans caught in the middle and G.I. Joe they're at the edges since it started. And so I'm really curious to see what happens. I'm not in danger of leaving the book, and I'm really just curious to see how it changes under Kirkman. I forgot the number he comes in on, but
I can't believe that this is 22 issues because it doesn't feel like it's been all that long at all. And again, I don't know that things have changed all that much, although like the whole Earth seems to have been taken over. Like it's pretty significant. They're not pulling their punches. It's not like the cartoon where
if it takes place in the G.I. Joe book in the same world, this should be a much bigger problem than
I think this book's ahead of that one.
It's got to be, because there's no way. I mean, there's no way that entire towns and I guess cities in this have been destroyed by the Decepticons.
Like they took over Seattle.
G.I. Joe's off doing their thing. So this has got to be like a year ahead of the events of G.I. Joe. I'd like clarification on that, by the way, from them as well.
I'm guessing that in the course of this book or Transformers comics over the years, that there's never been a person like Daniel Warren Johnson or Jorge Corona doing the art on it. And to me, that really lends something organic to these things that were always supposed to be like alive, but they're machines. I think they both
for sure.
have just done such a great job of humanizing them, for lack of a better term. I've enjoyed that part a lot, and they're great designs, but I think there needs to be some movement. That said, I enjoyed this issue a lot. I get excited, and I always want more than I'm getting, which is, I guess, a good sign.
And this is not a knock on it. People love Transformers because I like the Transformers, but it's
not my thing. It's not your thing.
Crazy to me that this is a top-selling Energon book. Like crazy.
Well,
I get it, but it's crazy.
This is not going to be a whole thing, but I was thinking about G.I. Joe the other day.
Oh boy.
I know, weird, right? And I was thinking about because I was trying to figure out if I could get my kid to watch. I bought the movies. The Transformers movie, the G.I. Joe movie were on sale on Apple for $5 for both of us. I bought them. Yeah. And I was just thinking about the fact that, like, now we watched, like, the cartoon now, for example, and we're like, it's just so wacky.
Right.
It's weird. Like, it's not really serious. And it's got all these odd things. They just announced a Cold Slither book that's going to come out, and I'm going back and I'm like, this is why I liked this, and this is why you liked it. Like, there's a certain, like, everybody liked it, but still around, because I'm like, it's just weird. It doesn't make sense. It's odd.
Yeah, and
it's infused with a thing that the Transformers is not.
Absolutely, and I don't know if you had to be there, and I know there's at least one person on our Discord who has admitted to never having read G.I. Joe, but jumping on A Real American Hero with the reboot. And loving it. So maybe you didn't have to be there, but he's also our age. So I don't know if it's just like I'm just saying, like, sensibility that works for a certain age group.
Everybody loved it.
It's a Gen X
because it was a popular, like, everybody who was our age all the boys at least were watching it. But now when I look back and I go, why is this one of those things that has stuck with me? And I was like, is this weird? It's so interesting that it's so many things all at once. And I think that's why it stands out. Like why are we still talking about Pee-wee's Playhouse?
Right.
Same kind of thing. Like it's just a little offbeat and strange, and it works. Anyway, that was
It's
my
weird, and
little...
it was during our childhood. Anyway, we move on to Superman Treasury 2025 Hero for All #1. I don't know what this is. It's the most convoluted and dumb. Like,
I don't know why it's called this.
I don't know. Is this the thing? Is it Treasury? I think they're going to start doing like just. Why is it just called Superman Special?
Connor,
Number
what's
one.
a treasury?
I don't know. In this issue, Superman opens up a treasury and he starts handing out currency.
I feel like it's got more than one. Treasury has to have more than one thing, and this is one
it was
thing.
Very weird. However, it's Dan Jurgens and Bruno Redondo on art, and Dan Jurgens doing a history of Superman sequence with Brett Breeding. And I thought this was great.
Dan Jurgens is severely underrated.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
100%. Every time he shows up and does something, it's not like, oh, look at this old guy coming along. Great stories.
I think people who are our age and were reading comics in the Dan Jurgens heyday of the 90s don't underrate him. But I think anyone who came along post Civil War, even post 2000, the bankruptcy, don't understand how big of a deal he was.
But also just he's still good. Like
he's still really good. He's still really, really good.
Art feels like a throwback to a certain extent, but
yeah,
he's multifaceted.
Nothing wrong with the writing.
In the middle of this, actually, like I didn't know it was going to switch over to Dan Jurgens' art, and I was like, "What? They bring in Ordway here?"
I thought it was Ordway as well.
And I went, "Oh wait, it's Dan Jurgens who triple threat." Like
I literally scrolled all the way back, and I was like, "Is it Ordway?" It's like, nope, it's.
I was about to, and I went, "Josh, that's going to be Jurgens," and I was like, "That makes more sense."
I had missed his name. I had seen Brett Breeding's name. I thought, wait, no, is it Brett Breeding? Like, no, he's an inker.
Yeah.
I mean, he also draws, but he was an inker primarily. And I was like, oh, never mind. Anyway, we
just undersold Bruno Redondo, which is very
my God. So this is the digital copy has 69 pages, but there's tons of double page spreads. So I got to believe this is like a 80-page book. And it's sort of out of continuity. It's just sort of again, much like Fantastic Four #1, this is like, here, Superman fans from coming out of the theater in droves going, where's the nearest comic store? Banging on storefront windows.
But by the way, never happened. It's never happened.
Right, that's my joke.
They sold a lot of Watchmen.
It happened.
They sold a lot of Dark Knight Returns. That was it.
Happened. The last time it happened for single issues was in '89 for Batman.
Mm-hmm.
They like doubled their sales. Why? Because they were available at newsstands. Anyway, this is like just as like an evergreen Superman story. You don't worry about continuity. It's just, Maxima, his sort of ex-girlfriend, ex-Justice League teammate, ex-adversary, invades Earth. And we use that as an opportunity to show all of his friends, show all his family, show his allies, revisit his history. This is just like, here is Superman. If you need to know what he is in the comics, here he is. And Bruno Redondo draws 85% of it. And it's amazing. And the Dan Jurgens stuff is amazing too, but holy cow.
The only thing that I would knock this thing for is that there are if this is supposed to be, if the intent is hand this to somebody who wants to read about Superman, there are, dream sequences. There's not Starro, but what's the thing with the black roots that goes around them so that they're living there?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like there's scenes with that are happening in Clark's head that we don't know about, and there's no visual distinction between that and the regular art, and that makes it. If you're confused, like we know,
I think you're supposed to be confused because it's very just clear that there's something wrong here because we see Ma and Pa Kent and Jonathan or John in the present day. And then the flashback includes the death of Jonathan Kent. And so we're like, what the fuck? So you're supposed to be confused because it contradicts. Timelines contradict. And it's resolved. But I was like, what? I thought he was. And then you're like, well, clearly.
Oh, well, also, we know the continuity. So like both of them are off. And I was like, something's not, so.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what it's like to read it as a person who doesn't know how to read comics or doesn't know the history.
If my knock on Bruno Redondo, and it's hard to find a knock, but I'll give him one.
Okay.
Besides pizza. Is there's one point in this flashback where it's like Clark and Lana and Lex on Smallville, and in Smallville, and I was like, oh, are they like young adults living in Smallville, like in their early 30s.
Right.
Nope, they're supposed to be 18. I was like,
Yeah.
No, none of these people haven't seen 18 in 10 years.
I mean, that's their farm 18.
That's true. They get, and Alfred's here and alive, and so
Yeah,
you just know it's
classic
not in
Alfred.
continuity. God, this is gorgeous.
Redondo. He was a
Really
person who
gorgeous.
was doing comic books. You wouldn't have remembered his name necessarily. And then he does Nightwing, and all of a sudden he's this next level guy. It's the weirdest thing.
Well, when we did the book explode on Injustice, you could start to see it.
Mhm.
He wasn't there yet, but he was getting closer as that book went through. But whatever he did, he's on performance enhancing drugs or whatever that's happening in Spain.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the healthcare.
Or I mean, I just like, it's one of like, it was always there, but maybe he was like trying to do a thing, when he was breaking in or whatever, and like, oh, we don't want to make it too weird, and then he just went off, and all of a sudden they were like, oh my god, we have an all-star on our hands here.
There's a lot of great Superman comics right now, and obviously the movie's out this weekend. But this is a great book. First of all, if you're a Superman fan, you got to read this book.
Yep.
If you're a DC fan, I think you got to read this book. If you like great comics and you're a Bruno Redondo fan, you got to read this book. But you can also, if someone says to you, hey, I saw the movie, look, this might happen. I saw the movie, and I kind of want to check out Superman. You can hand them this comic. And this is going to give you a great overview of where Superman is in the world right now. Also,
with two master storytellers.
Speaking of performance enhancing drugs, I mean, young Superboy maybe tone down the musculature just a slight.
That's how Dan Jurgens does it.
I'm just saying, and this is also, I can see it's very heavily Brett breeding. Like that's a Brett breeding face, not a Dan Jurgens face.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure Jurgens is just like doing the breakdowns.
I was like, come on, guys, smooth them out.
That's how things were.
Clark would have had a hard time covering that up in the school locker room. Anyway, I really enjoyed this book.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about another DC book in a second, but first Josh has a message for you.
Yeah, let's plow through this stuff. So the show is listener supported and viewer supported. The quickest way to do that is patreon.com/iFanboy. You can directly support the show. You will become part of a great community on Discord and Facebook. If that is the thing that is interesting to you, it is not mandatory. You get to vote on the Patron Pick. You get a Patron Power live on the show at the $5 or higher level, and you can always join the monthly Patron Hangout at $10 or higher. You will get an ad-free version of all of our shows put on Patreon, plus this show. You will get a day early. Normal release day is Sunday. We will release it on Saturday, ad free for you. So a little bit earlier if you finish your comics early and you're gonna. I don't know when normal people finish their comics. Do they just ride them out till Tuesday?
I remember in high school reading them on Friday night.
I know you can't get home. Of course you read your comics on. Come on. Anyway,
I was 12, 13.
Your voice just cracked too.
Hey guys,
it's me who wasn't going anywhere, and I think we know it.
I was playing sports, and I was getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. I was not going to parties.
Right. Plus, there is the iFanboy After Show, which I think is probably our most valuable of additions to all of this stuff.
You know what's interesting about that is I found a button recently on Patreon where you can see how the average view length of the videos, and they're all like 91%, like 90.
Nice.
90. So people are watching them all the way through, which is great.
That's great. They're just not watching the end part where we
no, they're like, fuck. They get to the last book, like, I can't take this anymore.
Fair enough. So yeah, we will talk about all the shows on the after show all the books that we don't get into this script. There's usually significantly less to say about those, but that's how it works. There's a discount if you sign up for a full year one time, and you can send or receive gift memberships. Go to patreon.com/iFanboy. And then add /gift for more about those full year things. iFanboy.threadless.com is our merch store where we have 22 designs on t-shirts and more. And I was thinking about this. End of last year, we launched a bunch of new shirts with comic book dialogue and phrases in the word balloons, and I just think they're awesome. Like,
oh, you know what? I'm gonna wear the DC one to the movie, the one with the names. I'm gonna wear that one. No one's gonna know what it is, but I'll know.
Yeah, I'm proud of those, and there's all sorts of other ones, but sort of they're newer, and I was like, go back and check those out.
The new design should be launching this coming week.
Yes, that is also true.
Yep.
So that's our merch store. You can get them on t-shirts, sweatshirts, all the stuff. If you've been to Threadless, like whatever you want to print it on, then pretty much do that thing. iFanboy.com/support just has a direct PayPal link. because you don't want to deal with any of that, but you still like to hand something over to the show. Hand it over. iFanboy.com/Amazon as a general shopping link for Amazon. It's an affiliate account. Doesn't cost you anything. Helps us out. Nice and easy. Bookshop.org is a local bookstore aggregator for ordering books. We will put links to that on the website where we can. They don't do issues, so look for them in the Booksplodes, things like that.
This time last week, we were on to the emails.
All right. Well,
that tells you how much last week sucked. There was nothing to talk about.
Yeah, it's true.
I wanted to mention quickly Action Comics 1088. This is the second issue of the Mark Waid written, Skylar Partridge drawn Superboy story. And I think it's terrific. I just can't get over the fact that they really kind of blew it with the glasses. They introduced the glasses here, but he's already been running around as Superboy. And also, yeah, he starts his first year at Small Go High, but all the kids from junior high know who. Like they needed to introduce the glasses much earlier, because now it's not even harder to be like, "That's Clark," because he's
that doesn't happen.
He needs to have the glasses.
He can, but no one's gonna recognize him. That's how it works.
Other than that, I thought this was great.
Never explain it. It's all good.
I think it's really fun. It's really Mark Waid in the best way, and the great Ryan Suit covers. But I just thought this was a great issue, and the storyline's really good. So
I saw Kevin Smith Presents Archie Meets Jay and Silent Bob #1, and I had this moment where I was like, I kind of want to read it. And
I wasn't going to, and then you said that, and I went, "Yeah, you're right. I kind of do want to read it."
Yeah, it was just a moment, and it was literally pretty much exactly what you'd think it was going to be. It was a little more. It was, Archie and friends were in living in the adult universe of the Kevin Smith world.
I really would love to have been in on the negotiations.
Yeah,
because this is an Archie Comics comic. I mean, it's co-produced by Secret Stash Press, but this is an Archie Comics comic that includes lots of cursing, lots of sex talk, a topless woman who's got her boobs are slightly blocked, but still she's there. Like, this is an adult comic.
Jay is gonna sell drugs to.
This is way more adult than anything they did in the Afterlife with Archie series. So this is an adult book, and I was shocked.
I was curious, because I knew there had been sort of more adult themed ones, but I'll give them that. Archie did not shy away from being part of the Kevin Smith world. Speaking of being part of the Kevin Smith world,
right?
It's the same fucking jokes. Stop telling the same jokes. Drives me insane.
It's the same jokes. However,
it's literally the same jokes. Whoa, but I love gatherings. Like,
yeah, well, that's the problem.
This is why Steve Martin quit comedy, because he's like, people like for some reason they just like referring to their own jokes over and over again, and I can't do it. Sorry.
I mean, I did like hearing Jeff Anderson's voice in my head. Like, I could hear it in the voice. And
but I did not need him to reference his own former. He could just be like, you're right.
No, I get that.
Reading him was like reading him.
But I also, I laughed every time Jay did anything.
Absolutely.
When he said "Snoogans, you freckled fuck" to Archie, I started laughing.
Yeah,
because I could hear,
because those were new things. But when they were
I could
like
hear
doing
Jay's voice perfectly,
yes, 100%.
And the idea that he is saying that to Archie is so weird.
Yeah,
that every time he came with a new to insult Archie's hair color, I laughed. I laughed. And then Archie,
but Jughead was definitely about to. And also,
Kevin Smith's daughter really wants to bang Archie.
Yeah.
His daughter, I looked it up, played Randall's daughter.
I figured it was something like that. So
I didn't see the third movie, so I didn't know Dante was dead. I didn't know. I was like, wait, what?
I got annoyed at the very beginning because of that thing where I was like, just stop going to this well. And then as you kept going and it changed and they got out of the store and they sort of were out in the world of Riverdale, I thought it was a little bit better. And like you said, those voices were perfect and watching, Jay was funny in there. So yeah, I mean, it's what you think it's going to be. It's probably a little better than that, but some of it's.
I mean, I enjoyed reading it. I agree with you. It's not just one joke. It's like 6 repeated jokes from what
1996,
94. I mean, they were just word for word, and maybe you do one,
Right.
But give Randall something new to do, which is part of the reason why I did not like those new movies, because they were just it was just diminishing returns from what we did before. At least Mallrats had new jokes. But I did laugh when Jay did stuff, and I liked hearing those voices. I didn't hate this. I was dumbfounded by it that it was even happening, and I don't know. I enjoyed it.
All right.
I'm glad I read it. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
But I don't know. This was I don't know. I think it's because it was weird, like you said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Like if this was just a Jay and Silent Bob comic, I wouldn't have liked it. But the fact that it was in Archie world, it was drawn like that.
The fact that it existed was weird.
That existed at all.
Right. I'm glad it's just the one.
Right.
Like,
no,
I don't want to
read
read
a miniseries.
6 of these.
No. But it also did remind me, like, oh, this has gone off the rails. Like when I was looking up like who these people were, I was like, oh right, his daughter played, like, she's a terrible actor. Like this, like it just went off the rails. So that's fine. Where are we at the show? All right. So that was the books we're going to talk about. But at patreon.com/iFanboy, every patron gets a vote to add a book to the rundown. And this week they voted in Kevin Smith presents Archie meets Jay and Silent Bob in the second place. But in first place was Marvel Swimsuit Special, Friends, Foes, and Rivals #1 for Marvel Comics. Now, this I wouldn't even begin to be able to explain what the Marvel Swimsuit issues were in the 90s.
I don't know that I've ever actually read any of them.
Oh, I read the first couple for sure. They were 1991. I was, 13, 14, the perfect time. This was also probably the last gasp of when the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, which is what was parodying, was like a big cultural deal. Like,
well, right before the internet was like
announced on the news who the cover girl was.
Right.
So what I like them. I'm not gonna lie. I was 13, but
there was less stimulation available back then.
Right. So I was interested. I was going to read this regardless. I'll jump on the question at the end, but I was just to check it out to see what they were going to do. I was really disappointed that they decided they had to make it a story, because what the original ones, I don't remember if it was all the way through because I didn't read them all the way through, but the first couple were actually fairly smart magazine parodies. It was like reading a magazine from the Marvel universe. It had ads from Marvel companies, like Roxxon had ads in it, and it was a parody of a swimsuit issue. So it was just photos, drawings with captions talking about what they were wearing and what they were doing. It wasn't a story. It was literally the Marvel swimsuit issue as if you were in the Marvel universe. And so here they decided they had to make it a fucking story with intermittent swimsuit pinups in it. But it was fine. I didn't mind the story. Tim Seeley and Tony Fleece wrote it, and Nick Bradshaw drew the hell out of it. But you didn't need to do that. And I get that in a world in which magazines are not as popular, which is even mentioned in the book, that parodying one maybe doesn't get you anything. But it was just weird to me that they had to make it into a story. I don't know. What did you think? You didn't have any preconceived notions going in. So what did you think?
I mean, I knew it was a thing that existed, but I kind of didn't expect it to be a story, and then it started with one. But the story it had no point. It was a placeholder of sorts. It was to explain why they're doing a thing, and I actually don't think that followed through. It just wasn't very interesting.
Someone used it. Was it Roxxon? Somebody used AI to make a Marvel swimsuit special in the Marvel universe. So they used AI to put all the heroes into swimsuits, right? And they were all annoyed, so they decided to make their own. Come on, gang, let's go make our own swimsuit.
Here's what I would have liked from the story. So basically what it was, they would go up to people and you'd hear part of their conversation trying to convince them Janet Van Dyne was the one who understands how it is, and she was going to convince all these people. And then eventually there'd be a pinup by somebody of those characters. But I don't know. Part of me was kind of hoping that like we'd see them have to organize it and like shoot it and what, you know what I mean? Like just more to it. Like they were all just like these little setups for the pinup, and it was kind of, I found it less than satisfying. And here's my big complaint.
Okay.
A little ways in, and Nick Bradshaw's a great artist. It just kind of like, he didn't have a lot to do here. the pinup started, and I thought, well, this will be cool. This would be some great pinups, and I just don't think they were very good. I don't think they got a lot of great artists. There's some of them for sure that were great, but I was like kind of hoping to get blown away by some fun, sexy pinup art, and that wasn't the case. I was underwhelmed by it.
Yeah, there's some I really liked.
I mean, there's like there's one of Cloak and Dagger.
That was a good one. That was a
great image. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.
I like the Mahmoud Asrar Black Cat Spider-Man one. But like this Aaron Cooter one.
Yeah.
You know, it's just you gotta
they're trying to ride a line because they don't want
to be sexy but not
objectify anybody, and I kind of respect that. But at the same time, do the thing.
If you're gonna do it, you got to do it. You can't go halfway with it. I mean,
and you're gonna do like you have the option of being like they have historically, and Marvel's pretty good at sexualizing both the males and females in the thing, and they were sort of getting at that, but they just kind of toned everything down.
Now there was one really funny gag that you probably didn't get, which was when the Punisher showed up.
Maybe there was another element to it, but
and he pulls out this Punisher bikini and he says, and I thought I'd never have to use this thing again. And in the background, we see the original art of him wearing it in the old pinups issue, which were kind of ridiculous of him wearing like a skull. That was funny to me. But
the best designs in it are the video game designs that are at the end of the book.
Yeah. Like this is. It's just. It felt like, you know what? Let's do it, but let's not do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let's go halfway. And since we're not comfortable sexualizing all these characters, even though their cover is pretty much doing it, and then the double
Frank
page cover,
Cho's out there,
right? The double page cover is even more.
Yeah,
but like they just decided they couldn't for whatever reason go the full measure and do it.
I wanted more pinups and I wanted better pinups.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted. I just felt like it was half-assed, and they didn't go for it. They yeah.
I mean, it was a thing like that. It was really popular. Again, this was a time when most people reading comics were teenage boys, but it was a popular thing, and it was also kind of subversive and funny and cool, and that they really did make an issue, like an artifact from the Marvel universe. You felt like you were reading a comic in the Marvel universe, or a magazine, and it was magazine sized. It was not comic sized. It was magazine sized. But
and it's like a little naughty.
Yeah,
but not real, pretty fucking wholesome.
I remember Jim Lee did something like it was like they got they had the people doing it. But anyway, this felt kind of disappointing in many ways. So let's rate Marvel Swimsuit Special Friends and Foes rated and Friends, Foes, and Rivals #1 ratings.
I'm not going to let your number influence what I'm saying.
So you go first.
It's 2.5, and that's nice. That's generous. It's right down the middle. It was a thing. It was a turkey sandwich without anything on it. That was supposed to be really good.
A dry turkey sandwich?
Yeah, it was a dry turkey sandwich. Like, it's fine.
Right.
2.9.
You were not gonna read this without it being the Patron Pick.
Definitely not.
I was, just to see what they were gonna do, and then there's nothing to stick with because it's only one issue. So there you go. That was the Patron Pick. Patreon.com/iFanboy. Every patron gets a vote to add a book to the rundown, but if you give it the $5 or higher level, you get a superpower live on the show, like this guy.
Kris Calabrese.
Hey,
I've given a little bit of a little bit. Kris Calabrese has the ability to produce, as if from thin air, a 6-inch action figure of anybody who he meets.
Oh shit!
So if he's in your presence and he like, poof, and it's a 6-inch articulated action figure. I thought a lot about whether they could be in different styles because, as you know, there's some realistic ones and then there's some cartoony ones. And I'm going to say that's up to Kris, or it's not even up to Kris. It's what comes out of him, like the artist. Yep. Here you go. And it will be, there's lots of different types of action figures.
Sure.
And some of them have cloth clothing, and some of them have, articulated joints, and some of them have a lot of accessories. And
that's cool.
What comes out really has to do with how he interprets how that person is. And then you get the. You
keep saying what comes out of him, and I keep picturing.
No. It's a magic poof in the hand. I'm going with that. It's not. He's not. Listen, I want to be completely clear about. He's not These are not defecation related
Okay,
action
right.
figures.
That's cool.
So he creates 6-inch action figures.
But he has to meet them. Like he couldn't be like Abraham Lincoln.
He has to be in the presence of the person.
Okay.
Yep. And it's instant pretty much at that point. I mean,
Cool.
it doesn't happen involuntarily. It's
Do they have accessories?
Yeah,
Do
they
have
can, but
accessories?
it can.
Like if he met you riding up on your skateboard, could your figure have a little skateboard?
Yeah. I'm going to go so far as to say that I think the action figure would reveal something about the subject.
Oh,
in some way. I don't know in what way, but it might be surprising.
I like that. Hopefully you like it too, Chris.
I had a second idea, or had a first one actually, and I said it out loud to my wife, and she was like, and so this was what I came up with immediately after that.
Well, maybe
and just so you don't think
keep
that
workshopping your idea.
Just so you don't think that I'm totally cool about that. I was a little pissed off. I was like, "Oh, you do it."
You tried coming with 900 of these. It's not easy.
I was like, this leads to a question. It leads to a discussion about morals always. And well, what would you do with this?
And she went.
Yeah. And I was like, so I think she's right. I think she might have been right. And it led me to make a better choice. So fair enough.
Patreon.com/iFanboy. Thanks for being a patron, Chris. Enjoy your power and good health. I think we can do one email. And I think we probably should do the one related to Superman since it's Superman weekend.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think that makes sense.
All right.
I want to save that second one though.
Oh, it's a good one. It is a good one. It's a longer discussion.
Yes, it is. Patrick K of North Carolina says,
I was reading it to make sure I put the right one on the screen.
I have been thinking about this question since the first still image of the new Superman was released, and I've been trying to consider what the most definitive Superman stories are. What is your Mount Rushmore of Superman stories?
What is the Mount Rushmore of Superman stories?
Mount Rushmore of Superman stories.
So that's four stories. Now, I'm going to be a pedantic dick just for 1 second and say what people use the term Mount Rushmore for doesn't actually reflect Mount Rushmore. The people on Mount Rushmore are there for very specific reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like people aren't saying those are the best presidents ever. Teddy Roosevelt isn't there because he's there because of his national parks creation. That's just me getting it off my chest. Now we can move on to what
okay. You had to.
I had to.
I know. I understand.
I was watching the Teddy Roosevelt documentary, the Kevin Burns ones the other day, and I was like, you know what? We're not using Mount Rushmore correctly. That was a thought I had when I was watching
it. Here's the thing, just so I can point this out.
The Roosevelt documentary.
Yeah, only his daughter Alice called him Teddy. Or his first wife, the dead one, called him Teddy.
Right.
He wasn't called Teddy by anybody else, except for everyone in history after him.
Everyone in history is going to call you Joshy after you're gone.
Whatever. I'll be dead.
I'm gonna start seeding that.
He did not. He was not called Teddy during his life by people in his life.
All right, best.
And he would click his teeth all the time.
The top four Superman stories.
Okay.
That's hard.
Now this is hard because Superman, for the vast part of his existence, was not. They didn't make stories.
Sure,
they were serialized, little shorts that came out over and over again. I think for the vast amount of the time, they weren't even like connected. Like the continuity wasn't really the same as we would think of it now. There was each issue was a standalone, short story. That's how they would do it for most of.
By that regard, it's gonna be mostly newer things because
exactly
those are the way those are written, and I'm sure I could go back and think of comics I read as a kid from the Bronze and Silver Age that were awesome, but it's just for this.
But it's the same with Batman. Like if you were like, what are the best Batman stories? I'm like Joker and the Laughing Fish. But you're gonna put that against Batman Year One?
The sake of this conversation, let's see. Man of Steel.
Man of Steel was the first one I thought of. No, it wasn't.
All-Star Superman.
You know what I love? I love Secret Identity, but I don't know that it counts.
Sure it does. Why not?
I don't know. It's just one of the ones that I read. I think that's like a 12 issue. That's Kurt Busiek. It's really
no. Oh, that one.
Yeah,
that counts. That counts. We used to write about it on the website.
Yeah, no.
I thought you were meant Secret Origins, the Jeff Johns, Gary.
No.
Frank.
No.
Secret Identity is you could definitely put it on there.
Stuart Eminem. I'm putting that. For me, That's one of mine. That's the first one I think of when I think of a great Superman story.
Man of Steel, also Superman. You can make a case for all seasons.
I was I was thinking of the Alan Moore, the Man of Tomorrow.
Oh, Whatever Happened to Man of Tomorrow?
Whatever. There you go. That was.
There's the other one. What's the other one? There's Whatever Happened to Man of Tomorrow, and then there's the other one. With the I can remember that ends the Silver Age.
I don't know.
That's a good one. Is that Whatever Happened to Man of Tomorrow? Oh, that's Whatever Happened to Man of
That
Tomorrow.
is that.
It's Alan Moore and Kurt Swan and George Perez. What's the other one I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
There's two. Anyway. Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, Man of Steel, also Superman, and then...
Do you put Superman? See, Superman for All Seasons and All-Star Superman are very...
I mean, they're both wonderful.
Right.
I prefer...
Birthright?
No, Birthright's fine, but Man of Steel's my origin.
Mm-hmm.
And Birthright is good. Someone asked me recently if it was good. It's totally good. It's not my favorite origin, but it's totally good. I'd put it behind Man of Steel and behind Secret Origins. I just think All-Star Superman's perfect.
Yeah, I need to read that again. It's been a while.
Fourth's hard because it's the last one. I mean, I could definitely put Secret Identity in there because it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's really amazing.
Superman Smashes the Klan.
Superman Smashes the Klan is also amazing.
Yeah.
Is that your fourth?
No, I just was like, oh yeah, this. I'm looking up Superman stories to make sure I don't forget anything. Like I have some that definitely sort of.
Well, what about the one?
What about Kingdom Come?
Well, hold on. What about the one that you did a mini on, the Superman 775?
Yeah,
you did a whole mini about how that was the best Superman story.
Best Superman issue.
Well, that's what we're talking about. Story is an issue, or it could be anything.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't. If I was saying Superman stories, like it's a different thing. I'm not going to give that one issue that much sway. In terms of like, if we're talking about a story that helps define a character, that's a really enjoyable story, and hopefully it still holds up. We've gone back a couple times and it did, but Manchester Black, Joe Kelly.
Red Sun's really good.
I'm not saying Red Sun.
It's really good. I don't think I put in top 4, but it's really, really good. Ay. All right. But then Superman for Whatever Happened to Man Tomorrow is just a single issue.
Yeah, but it's Alan Moore. Either way, I'm putting that ahead of.
Well, now you're making.
No. I know. Okay, I'm saying. So let me put that away. I'm putting that ahead of.
So you're saying no single issues?
No, you can. I'm just not putting that issue there.
So you're
saying that context.
That mini was a lie. You lied.
Well, things change over 15 fucking years.
All right. Also, Superman, Man of Steel, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, and
for me, what you just said, plus Secret Identity.
And I think Secret Identity. I mean, there's lots of great ones.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of great Superman stories.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what I would pick. But there's other. I mean, you mentioned Kingdom Come. That's a great Superman story. Also, it's basically at its heart a Superman story. Mm-hmm. That's a great Superman story. And Jeff Johns' run on Action with Legion of Superheroes and Brainiac and Pa dying, like that was an incredible run of Superman comics. And there's the whole 90s Superman stories.
Is that Gary Frank?
Yeah,
that was great.
And then there's the whole 90s run we talked about, Dan Jurgens and
That's a Superman.
That's a great story too. And Superman Smashes the Klan. There's tons and tons of it, but that's off the top of my head. Those are the 4. And
it should be those are pretty much all from our generation. And because that's like stories were awesome and fun for a while, but in that 86 trying to like make stories matter, those tend to be more defining and memorable in a way that you can't be like, well, what's great Superman? Oh, from 1956 till 1961.
Right.
You can't do that.
Kurt Swan.
Right. You can talk about creators. That's how you cover that.
And I'm not saying we should do this because we should wrap up, but another interesting question would be the Mount Rushmore of portrayals of Superman in the comics. So, like, I wouldn't say New Frontier is a top 4 Superman story because it's more of a Green Lantern / DCU story.
Yeah.
But he's a great Superman. There's a great Superman in that book.
Grant Morrison's Justice League.
Grant Morrison's Justice League is a great, like, that'd be an interesting question. Is like, what pull the characters out of the stories and what are the great portrayals of them? Of the animated series Superman.
Animated Superman series to me is the best version of Superman. Period. All the
like
characters.
Batman is, I think, is the best. The Batman the animated series is the best Batman. You love, I love Superman the animated series, but that's your favorite Timverse show.
Absolutely. It's the one that
show.
sort of introduced me to a lot of those characters and concepts in a way because I hadn't read all those comic books forever, and I just think like that's the voice of Superman, the way that they handled his humanity and all the his the responsibility he felt, and also just the designs that were just so simple and perfect, and they never beat that.
Great cartoon. Ends on a downer.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. Anyway, thanks for writing in, Patrick K. from North Carolina. We appreciate it. He wrote into contact@ifanboy.com. That's how you can get on the show. And we like hearing from you. We like getting your emails, and we like these conversations that come up from them. They're great. Let's do some quick plugs. So it couldn't have been 2 weeks ago. Several weeks ago, we had our.
It wasn't that long ago.
Media split. Was it 2 weeks? Let's look at the calendar.
Show's running long. I'll look. You talk.
Doesn't matter. And sometime in a couple weeks ago, we had our Media Explode episode talking about Jaws and Brian Wilson. This past week, we had the July Media Explode where Ron and Gordon the intern held Josh and I at gunpoint. We talked about Rad, the 1986 BMX bike film. This coming week, we'll have our Superman review. Next week, Josh will have a Talk Explode for you. And then the week after that, the last week of the month, we'll have our Fantastic Four First Steps review. So very busy month, lots of comic related stuff to talk about on extra shows.
I'm giving myself no expectations about a Fantastic Four movie. I really want it badly to be what I want it to be, but I can't imagine a world in where I get that.
Well, like I said, if they can't do it, no one can. So
and maybe this. Yeah, you can find our library of a whole crap load of shows. You can find that mini of me talking about Action Comics, number 775, which, to be honest, was probably just the first great Superman issue I ever read. If I think about it that way now in context.
I want to see what you titled it exactly. Keep talking.
I'm sure it was hyperbolic. You can find all of the shows we've ever done at ifanboy.com, with the ones that exist, and wherever you get podcasts. You can never miss a show and find out what the pick of the week is before the show comes out by following us at iFanboy Comics on Instagram and Threads, at ifanboy.com on Blue Sky. Connor and I are CS Kilpatrick and J.A. Flanagan on Instagram. And don't miss, we'll put them on Instagram and then the other social medias, and on YouTube we have videos from when we had a writing staff, Jeff Reed, a encyclopedic deep knowledge and adoration of comic book history, and he'll find a little bit of comic book minutia. Like, by the way, he's doing this as videos now, but for pretty much years, if we say some nonsense on here, he will email us or text us and be like, actually, this is it, and you never thought it was this weird. So it exudes from him. You can find those every Tuesday and Friday on our social channels and YouTube. Like I said, I'm done.
You called that mini best Superman issue ever. Action Comics 775. No, this is before the question mark.
I don't think I can't.
It was a colon.
I haven't read enough of them to be able to make that judgment.
Please consider writing us a review and leaving a star rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you're listening on Pocket Cast, you need to be subscribed and have downloaded a few.
I was ahead of the YouTube algorithm, is what I was.
You were. Subscribe to youtube.com/ifanboy, where you can watch the video version of this show, as well as our special edition shows, Jeff Reed's comic book deep dives, archive of all of our old video shows we did from 2007 and 2012, including Josh's mini, which we just talked about, which is up there. And finally, join us on the iFanboy After Show exclusively on Patreon, where we'll share our thoughts on all the other books that we read this week. They didn't make the
Who drew that?
Doug Monkey, I think. Pretty sure. That's at patreon.com/ifanboy for everyone at the $10 a month tier and up.
Oh,
thanks for listening.
At you, Doug Monkey, Lieber Mayho did the cover.
Yeah, I remember that. All right, that's it for this week's show. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name's Connor.
Bye.